Hello, all, and welcome to our March Code Jam live stream. My name is Tiffany Hall, and I am an alumni of TripleTen Software Engineering Program, a full stack engineer, and a product owner at Scholastic Inc., the world's largest publisher of children's books and a powerhouse in the digital education space, too. Tonight, I'm very excited to be the host of TripleTen's March Code Jam. I'm really excited because we have so many teams tonight who are able to join us and so many of you watching at home. This Code Jam has been a fantastic opportunity for all of our students to connect and really develop that sense of community that's so important from coast to coast here in the US. If you are not familiar with a Code Jam and you're new to this space, welcome. I will tell you a little bit about what a Code Jam is. At TripleTen, a Code Jam is a friendly competition that occurs for our students during their normal coursework. These are really short competitions where a group of students gets together and they jam out a bunch of code to meet whatever the prompt is. There are lots of prizes that are awarded, but mostly we're competing for all things that developers want, which is caffeine and a clean Jira board and pride. We're competing for pride. We're pretty prideful. All right, our code jam this week consists of two parts, our coding part and our presentation part. Last week, the participants were divided into teams of four and challenged to create and develop a website or application that inspires people and can help adopt sustainable habits, conserve energy, or reduce their environmental footprint, anything to help out Mother Earth, basically. So, our teams had 6 days in total to make their project, and today they're going to show off their projects to all of you out there watching at home. Then our judges are going to review them next week, and the judges will be evaluating the code and the presentation. All of our results will be posted on Discord and socials on March 26th. All of our students who are watching can also vote for their favorite project during the next week. In the Discord channel, you'll see a poll there. If you are not a student of ours just yet, you can vote down below in the live chat section of this stream. All of our winners for the audience award will receive a special prize, including probably a hairball from my cat Sharkbait. So make sure you leave your comment below or on the Discord channel so that that hairball gets to a shiny new home. All right, now it's time for presentations. We have 6 teams today, so I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot. We're going to jump right in and just start swimming in all the nerdy little details. All right, our first team is Eco Squad, and that team consists of Ryan Bonmarito, Keanu Seidet, Anna, Anna Matos, and Edwin Dunez.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We are Eco Squad, and I'll go ahead and get into our presentation. On March 23rd, millions of people around the world will turn off their lights for 1 hour, Earth Hour, symbolizing their commitment to the planet. But what if those 60 minutes of awareness turned into daily action? That's where EcoLink comes in. EcoLink is more than just a platform. It's a movement that transforms movements like Earth Hour and Earth Day into everyday action. Our goal? To make sustainability social, fun, and most importantly, impactful. Myself, Anna, Keanu, and Ryan all got together to turn this movement into reality. Our roles: I created the repo on GitHub and helped the team stay organized and on top of our task using GitHub's issues feature. Anna took care of creating the initial design of the website using Figma. Keanu built the foundation of the website using his skills in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all while following the BEM methodology. Ryan made sure the site was good to go by implementing all the finishing touches and working on getting all the small details cleaned up. Finally, we all had some sections we worked on, and we'll deep dive into those in just a moment. Our origin story, in our initial meeting, it consisted of throwing a bunch of ideas around and what we should create. Ultimately, all these ideas were just too good, and we decided to just implement all of them. We wanted an event board, social meetup, and a quiz. And we'll go ahead and dive into some of our key features with Ryan. I'll hand it off to Ryan right now.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan Bomarito. I came into this team actually like 3 days after the event had already started. So I believe Keanu had already created most of the framework of the website. I did, however, add in the nav bar up here in the header, and which links down to the different sections. Also goes down to the footer, which is also what I created. I also implemented the responsiveness, which we'll showcase later. But for the footer, all of these are our GitHub and LinkedIn links. So you can go ahead and click those, and everything goes to a separate tab. And it also links to the quiz, which I believe Anna helped with.
So my name's Anna Matos, was Eco Persona. Eco Persona is a personality quiz that will determine the best way to spend Earth Day. The questions have a value system. So questions that are more introverted, like these ones, will have a lower value, and then our more extroverted questions will go to that value. So is based upon your personality to see how you can best spend Earth Day. In addition to that, we also created the social media section. All of the icons link to social media pages for the website. And then I also created all the animations on that. And then I'm going to hand it off to Keanu to do the card section.
Hey, my name is Keanu. So what I worked on was the this little sliding card animation that you see here. All of these cards are linked to a station. So if you click on them, you can go to the Greenbelt movement, reforest, etc. If you hover over the cards, it will stop the animation and resume it from the point that you stop it. When you leave the hover, you can also click on the arrows to move the animation left or right. So that is kind of what we call like a get the card gallery. Scrolling down here, I also implemented this Eco Squad feature, which takes your geolocation data. When you click on Find Your Local Group, you have to accept it, allow it, and it will find an event that is close to you and provide you with the event that's closest to you. If you, for whatever reason, don't have a location, it will say that. Ryan, however, has that functionality. So he's in the Atlanta area. It gives him the Atlanta recommendation. I encourage all of you guys to check it out. And there are a bunch of different events hard coded into the JavaScript here that you can check out. For myself, I'm in the San Francisco area, so my event is in the Yerba Buena Gardens. But if you want to check out an Earth Day event that's close to you, feel free to click on that button, give it your location data. It doesn't store any of it. It's all client side. And then you can check out an event that's close to you. So now I'm going to hand it over back to Edwin to talk about the EcoPod section.
So with this EcoPod section, this is a collection of a bunch of ecology podcasts, and they all link to their Spotify, so that way users can go ahead and check it out. We thought this was important because podcasts can foster a sense of community by creating a platform for discussion and interaction. And then also just wanted to touch base that the whole site is responsive. So we'll demonstrate right now how it goes down in size, so that way you can accommodate for small screens like a mobile, like on an iPhone. And also on a tablet as well. And then I'll hand it over back to Keanu so that way he can talk about a big challenge and a lesson that he learned during this whole process.
Hey, so just touching base again, the main thing that I want to talk about here is just that we all had kind of a different role in establishing a different aspect of the website, but one thing that we all worked on that gave us an idea about how to build something in unison is the quiz. It involved all of the members of this group. It involved all of the different types of code, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and we had to kind of interconnect everything. As far as the project as a whole, I think it's a unique project because it highlights a lot of different types of functionality. It has a multimodal presentation for different events. You can go do in person if that's your thing. You can listen if that's your thing. You can take the quiz if you like interactivity. If you're not sure what kind of event you want to get involved in, to look in your own time. And then you can also visit already kind of pre-established foundations and just learn more through the sliding card gallery. So some obstacles. Everyone here is obviously in a different stage of the learning process. So the obstacles were a bit case by case. I know some of us weren't familiar with setting up GitHub repos and working in unison, whereas others were kind of like figuring out kind of the nuances of CSS when it involves JavaScript as well. So the GitHub ecosystem was probably the common thread that gave all of us a great learning opportunity to just commit, merge, form test branches. And in the end, it took over a dozen branches and almost 40 commits for this project to come to life. So just going over some takeaways before I give it over to Anna. Anna really enjoyed the Figma design in particular. She's really passionate about the design process. Ryan liked the idea of being onboarded to a new project that that he wasn't kind of involved in the creation for, and getting up to speed and figuring out kind of the documentation and how to make a difference. Edwin was really a great project manager for us. He got everyone up to speed with how GitHub works, made the initial issues, made the initial repo, kind of helped everyone figure that stuff out because he had some experience with previous code jams. And finally, for myself, I really like the geolocation feature. I was able to use some math in the JavaScript functionality to actually calculate closest position based on like a formula used in astrophysics. So that was really cool. Finally, I'm going to give it over to Anna to round out the presentation and talk about some future directions.
Okay. The future plans for the project and where we see EcoLink going next. So some of our future plans are to really flesh out that geolocation so that when users do register, it does go to a registration page rather than just a pop-up saying thank you that you've registered. And then we'd also like to add some additional features in the future, one of which we call Eco Habits, which would be a short section about daily changes that make long-lasting impacts on eco-sustainability, such as zero waste, water conservation, etc. EcoShare, which would be an API system that would link into our social icons that would make a pre-made post. That was one of the original ideas we had for this project, but unfortunately, when we went to get the APIs, there's a dev response that we couldn't get in time. So you have to wait for you to be accepted to use that API, and we just couldn't get it done in time. And finally, Eco Icons, which would be a monthly section that highlights ecological pioneers in a variety of fields, from engineering to greener government policies and more, to expand the conversation about a greener future. Thank you guys for listening to our presentation. We hope you liked our project.
All right, that was fantastic. Marvelous. Thank you so much. Really impressive, the amount of not just thoughtful work, but the different elements that you guys were able to pull in through the different pieces that you all found most interesting. So I think that's going to be one of my questions. But my first question is that, Ryan, you mentioned you came in a few days, about halfway through the project. And while that's not uncommon, I think one of the questions I have is, what is something that was really helpful to you to get up to speed as quickly as you needed to for such a short timeline?
Definitely having meetings with the other teammates was very helpful. They were kind of going over kind of what was already discussed, what the plan is, what I need to be working on, stuff like that. And then just also going through the code and like kind of getting familiar with it was top notch for me.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. That can be one of the challenging pieces of joining a new team in any way, is just getting up to speed with a code base. So very cool. In terms of the whole group, what was one of your favorite features that you guys added? You have a carousel in there, you've got hover effects, you guys have a lot going on, but what was one of the favorite things to work on?
I guess I can kind of speak on this. Oh yeah, go ahead, Anna. Go ahead.
The quiz was I think our favorite part because it required the most work. And I think
Sure.
we were all super satisfied when it actually worked. It took a lot of
I'm
work
really
to
looking
even get
forward
it
to clicking.
responsive.
I'm interested when I go and look at the code to see how you guys weighted the different pieces. You were talking about that. Can you tell our viewers at home maybe like a little bit about what you guys did there?
Sure. Ryan, do you want to show the code?
Absolutely. You want to show the code, Ryan. Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Do I have the code up though?
Yeah, I figured you had it. So
Uh,
it's all the way at the
All the
bottom.
way at the
Yep.
bottom. Yeah.
okay.
So we had pre-made questions and we just kind of based them about which level of sociability they were at, added a value to it, and then in the end, the result will just sum it and give it a pre-made sum with those values. So obviously value 1 can only go up to probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then therefore up the row.
Very cool. Fantastic. All right. And is this a project you guys think you might continue on? You guys had future plans. I love that.
Yeah, I feel like just speaking personally about it, I'm pretty passionate about the features of connecting people. I'm here in San Francisco where there's a big community of developers, and there's already an app that I use. I guess I won't plug it here. It's not my app, but well, it's
Yeah,
called
it's not
Time
your
Lapse.
app.
It's
Don't
nice.
plug that.
Yeah, yeah, but it really inspired me to help make the functionality here what it is, because it allows people that don't know each other to come together to do something they all enjoy doing. And it's almost a strength in numbers thing in my mind, where if it's only one person going and doing a cleanup or joining an initiative, there's kind of the fear of, and there's some safety concerns. Maybe you're not as compelled to follow through. But the idea that you can bring people together kind of in the strength of numbers and to do stuff where you're pointed in a direction, I think is a really promising kind of app to develop. So I'm really excited. I know that the rest of the team, we all have our own ideas of future plans, but I think it kind of reflects the project as a whole that we're willing to spearhead the things that we ourselves are passionate about and add in what we personally want to see, as opposed to like, oh, we don't have time to do that. Like, let's work on this. Like, if we get done with something, we all kind of like start a new process and use a new feature branch so that we don't break anything. Like, it's really promising. We have a really good dynamic as a team, which is awesome. I can
Right
definitely
on.
speak to the fact that everyone had a role.
Well, it sounds like you guys did a really great job on the behind the scenes part of it. So I can't wait to be able to look in the code and see all the little fun bits that you guys included. It looks like Luce in our YouTube chat, it wants to give you guys a compliment that you guys did some very, really impressive work. So
Thanks.
thank you. Thank you guys very much. That is Eco Squad. And let's see if I can try these names without tripping over my tongue again. So I've got Ryan Bonmarito, Keanu Saida, Anna Matos, and Edwin Dunez. Getting better. All right. Thank you so much, Eco Squad. All right. Now we're going to go to our second group tonight. Our second group is actually a solo, kind of a solo artist, like the Beyonce of Destiny's Child, gone off on their own. That is going to be Eco Squad. Nope, not Eco Squad, Team Eco. And that is Meshach Jacobs. Oh, you're right on mute. Okay, Beyonce's going to try again. Hold on.
Let's try that again. Good
There you
evening.
go. Okay, here he is, Meshach Jacobs. There you are.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good evening or
Good.
morning, depending on your time zone. My name is Meshach, and I'm here representing Team Eco or Solo Eco. Let's do it. So, sustainability isn't just a trend; it's a necessity. But too often, people and businesses struggle to take meaningful action. That's why here at EcoSpirit, we've created something to handle just that. My name is Meshach Jacobs, software engineer of EcoSpirit, and today I'm introducing the platform that's designed to turn sustainability from a challenge into a lifestyle. We believe
Don't
that.
forget to share.
Oh, that's right. Let me do that right now. Apologies.
That's okay. If everyone's got their bingo cards, they can mark that off now.
All right, so this is EcoSpirit.
I see it.
You see it?
Welcome to Ecosphere.
Cool. Now, Yes, so we believe that making eco-friendly choices shouldn't be complicated. So EcoSphere simplifies this process by offering personalized insights, practical solutions, and real-world impact tracking devices all in one place. Our goal, simple, empower individuals and businesses as well to make smarter individual choices without sacrificing convenience or efficiency. Whether it's reducing waste, tracking your carbon footprints, or finding sustainable alternatives, EcoSphere makes it very easy and accessible to make an impact. The future is green, and with EcoSphere, we're making everyone able to participate in this action. Now, without further ado, I will start showing you guys what EcoSphere is about. So, as you notice, once you enter the website,
Welcome to Ecosphere.
you get a nice warm welcome. The logo is hoverable, expands and extracts. Also, these little guys expand as well. And here is the infamous Eco Impact Checker. So what this is about basically is you can enter in your daily electricity usage, and this is used with an API. Let's enter a random number. We're going to go for 10 and check your impact. Then it spits back out your CO2 emissions, which I thought was pretty neat. If you guys want to check that out afterwards, that is something that I think is very useful. So below tells a little about Ecosphere, making energy use transparent and sustainable at Ecosphere. We believe that understanding your carbon footprint is the first step towards a greener future. Our digital tool helps individuals track their daily electricity impact in real time using live carbon intensity data. With just a simple input, you can see how much CO2 your energy usage produces and take the steps to reduce your environmental impact. Our goal is to make sustainability effortless by providing clear, actionable insights that empower you to make smarter, eco-friendly choices. Below that, it goes on to explain why your carbon footprint matters. Basically, the carbon footprint is a total amount of greenhouse gases, if you didn't know, that your daily activities produce. And you could further look into that and kind of find out how important this is, because it is actually pretty important, I'd say. And below, we have our contact section. Want to contact us, our address is Eco Street at Triple Peaks. It might be a familiar address that you guys might know, TT. And last but not least, an integrated chatbot called EcoPal.
Hi, I'm EcoPal. How may I assist you?
And what she does, or he, EcoPal will give you tips on how to essentially be more eco-friendly, go more green. So we can ask it something simple like, hey, EcoPal, don't spell it right. Give me tips on how to conserve energy.
Save energy by turning off unused lights and appliances.
All right, nice. How about water usage?
Save water by turning off the tap while brushing your teeth.
Pretty neat, right? And how can I be better at recycle?
Try sorting your waste into recyclables and non-recyclables.
All right, there you have it. EcoPal is a very useful friend and tool to learn how you can go more green. Also, when you click out, let's note this, nice little button click. All the links actually work as well. The about section leads to about, it matters, leads to it matters. Eco impact, well, I called it Eco Pact actually. I thought that was pretty neat. Goes to the Eco Impact Checker and the contact section as well. Now, the site is responsive. Once you come here, They are still laid out. Everything is essentially smaller if you expand and contract it. It kind of, you know, goes according to your page size as well. Now, can you guys still hear me?
Yes, indeed.
All right, great. Just checking. So I will kind of jump into the code a little bit if you guys don't mind. I'd like to show you what that's all about. It took a very long time to do this. As you guys know, it was just me. Unfortunately, my teammates had very pressing issues. I won't speak too much on that, but there are real issues. You know, one of them is a father. Another one was in the midst of moving, and the other one just works heavy hours. So, you know, prayers out to them. Hopefully, they're doing all right. Great people, by the way. So with Ecosphere, I will jump into the audios I have here. The audios I actually got from, let's see, I'll share. Second, Gem API. So the audio actually got them from a very cool site called TTS MP3, right? And that is a text-to-speech converter. Oh, sorry about that. Second. Text-to-speech converter. I went through and added the text in for each thing here, the welcome audio. This EcoPal's actual voice. Um, the Eco Energy reply. This is well, I'll just jump into that. It's in the JavaScript. So what I used for EcoPal's replies is, and this is all JavaScript, by the way, no Python or anything. I was gonna add some because I do know a little bit of Python, but um, uh, seeing at the time was a little pressing, I didn't really have the time to. That would have been nice, but basically what I have here is it's returning some text. And with this text, I just took this and put it into the text to speech converter. It spat me back out the reply. You could change the voice as well. I sorted out which one would sound more or less better for EcoPal, and I downloaded the MP3 and plugged it right in. So I have that for each of the replies. If we go down here, this is EcoPal's code, the chat input. Basically, you could send a message with a click or enter as well. So the functionality on that was pretty good, and whatnot. Here is the actual code for the API key. I got that from a site called portal.electricitymaps.com. If you guys want to check that out, it was a neat find, if I had to say so myself. This was actually my first time using the API. Never used one before, but it was pretty neat to find out, you know, what that's all about. Pretty difficult stuff. So anybody who's using that, I commend you. I really do. That is not an easy task. Um, but yeah, that really basically wraps up Ecosphere. I hope you guys like it. I got the README here, you know, basically explaining everything I explained about Ecosphere. And I hope you guys, you know, check it out. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right on. Okay. Well, that was super rad. For those of you not watching at home, my face was this when it started talking.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool. So I appreciate you showing the code. That was really great. I can't wait to see it and really like look through it line by line. Um, how was using the APIs? Because that can be something that trips a lot of students up, right? Using APIs and trying to get them to work and finding the keys and getting all of that in order. So, any tips or tricks that you might have learned?
Um, I will say that was a grueling process. I'll be completely honest. First time using it, I must have went through so many different like websites because one of them, two of them actually, the API, I grabbed it from there, and two sites actually were, I guess they were out of date. The API just did not work at all. So that was a learning process. Make sure you do your research on your sites if you want to grab APIs from something, because it's very possible that they will not be working. And you could do all the work, set up the code for it, plug the API in, and you'd be sitting there for hours and wondering, hey, what's going on? And it might not even be you. It might just be the site.
Okay.
So check that out. That was a very, very deep learning experience. I will say so. I will say so.
For sure.
But
Yeah, definitely a good one. And are these free APIs that you're using, or are these ones that
I'm
cost?
not paying for anything. Nope, not paying. These are all
It's
free.
fantastic.
Yes, if you guys would like to check these out, kind of implement them in your projects, I really do recommend them. Once again, I'll show you again. The first one, or the one for the voice, is ttsmp3.com. Great.
Mm,
Also, I didn't mention this, but background remove.bg is what I use for the Ecosphere logo, right?
okay.
Kind of I messed around with Canva, if you guys are familiar with that, and kind of used a couple other things to kind of tweak this. And then it had a little bit of a background, but everything I use is free. So BG Remove, I believe it's called, is a great free site if you want to just get rid of that pesky, annoying background on any logos that you end up making. That was a lifesaver for me. And I did that same thing for these as well. These.
Right on.
Mhm. So yeah, any of the sites that I mentioned, they're all free. So if you're making a project and you want to kind of implement these, I'd say go for it. I would say go for it.
Well, that is fantastic. So really great. And I appreciate you sticking with it and continuing on the project. And as I've mentioned before, it's challenging just to communicate with lots of people from all over the country. It can be challenging at work. It can be challenging when, still just students. So I appreciate your grit and determination to finish the project.
Of course, I just kind of thought of it like, eventually we're gonna be doing this, full time. So might as well get used to it now, right?
It's great practice, great practice. And I definitely took note on that TTS website. See what kind of things I can hijack and put text to speech in now.
I got some more for you, Tiffany. I got some more.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much
Okay,
for the
that's Team Eco with Meshach Jacobs. Thank you so much. All right, and then this next team that we have tonight is Planet Pledge. And so I've got the recording for that. No, I have the recording. You have the recording, Brandon.
Either or. I
Either
sent
or.
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes. This is the one where I have two of the recordings. So why don't you do that one so you can do it in the order that makes sense for your team? So that's Planet Pledge. That's the name of the team. And as we've just spoken with Brandon Dooley, other people on the team are McKay Perry, Anand Ragathaman, and Roman Earhart.
All right.
Planet Pledge makes
So-
me think of Captain Planet.
I know, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and share the video. Yeah, the other
Remember to
team
share your
obviously
sound.
couldn't be here tonight, so that's why we went ahead and pre-recorded something. That way, everybody kind of had their voice in it. So let me click share, make sure I get the right window. There was, sorry, quick second. I wasn't expecting to have to share it here. Where is it? I don't know why it's not showing. Let me just do it like this, and then I can just click. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play it now.
Good evening. We're team number 3, Planet Pledge. My name is McKay, and we have on our team Anand, Roman, and Brandon. And I'll share first about our overall approach and layout. Anand will speak specifically about the pledge wall and the resources section.
What just, oh, goodness. Did that,
Using React and connect to the page to a backend database in our MVP. So
The audio.
Brandon, your audio kind of cut out on us.
My apologies. What were you saying?
Your audio cut out on us.
Did it? Okay.
It-
Let me go ahead and start the video over. Sorry about that. I had a little
You-
technical issue.
You bet.
All right, good evening. We're team number 3, Planet Pledge. My name is McKay, and we have on our team Anand, Roman, and Brandon. And I'll share
Brandon,
first
now I need
about
you
our
to share it,
overall
though.
approach and layout. Anand,
Like I said, I was not prepared to have to share it, guys. I'm
Worry.
so sorry about that. That's why we had
It's all right.
Good time.
You know
I
what?
know,
Third
it's
time's the
kinda-
charm, man. We're gonna get the audio, we're gonna get the video, we're gonna get it all together.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thanks for your patience. Okay, let me click back in, start it over.
all right,
Okay.
good evening.
All right.
Looks like the audio cut out again. Not too sure.
Brandon. Okay.
Is it really cutting out when I do that?
Yeah, it's kind
Like
of
we can see the video, but then like we can't hear it once like
It's
I
like
guess
you
that
click
little
out of it.
yeah.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is mute my microphone.
Oh no,
Don't
no,
do
no!
that.
Don't mute.
Don't do
Okay, yeah,
that.
just
Wanna mute
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
everything.
Gotcha. Okay. I was trying to just in case there was background. So last
It
time
takes
I
a
swear.
village. You get a
All right,
whole
good
call of
evening.
IT people
We're team
here.
number 3, Planet Pledge. My name is McKay, and we have on our team Anand, Roman, and Brandon. And I'll share first about our overall approach and layout. Anand will speak specifically about the pledge wall and the resources section. And then Roman will share about the quiz. And to bring everything together at the end will be Brandon, who converted the front end elements of our product using React and connected the page to a back end database in our MVP. So first off, the approach and the layout. We made a focused web page to encourage people to be better stewards of Earth on a more individual level, and we did this by focusing on making a pledge. So taking a pledge to do something to help Earth. We made this form and validated it so that you would have to fill in the text here, what your pledge is, and then answer this question if you would want to be reminded in the future of what your pledge is. And if you click no and write something in the form here, you'll be able to submit the pledge, and it shows up as a kind of a social pressure to do something to make the planet better. Wanted to call out this sole focus of the page, and so I used a button here in the navigation to draw attention there, and just really focus on that and use this kind of modal concept to focus really on this main purpose. Next, Anand will share about the pledge wall in the resources section.
Hi everyone, I'm Anand. So I'll be sharing two sections, the pledge wall and the resource section, which I worked on. So this is a word cloud UI where I'm just using an array of string to populate this text inside a div to display them in a random position to have this word cloud UI. So on hover, we are just highlighting and zooming that text and highlighting it. And Mekay already explained how to add a new one by clicking on the take the pledge. And coming to the resources, I have added 4 cards using the flex. And so 4 resources to save the earth. So I've given the external link for this. So this will open in a new link so that we're not opening it in the same page. So that's pretty much it from my side. Over to Roman.
Okay. My name is Roman Earhart, and for the Energy Saver quiz, we wanted to give folks a guesstimation, so to speak, on what their daily usage of specifically water and electrical energy um, impacts the Earth. And so you can see here we have three different numerical questions. They are set with validation, trying to type some text in here. But when you type in numbers, it does work. It does have a min max as well. It's not going to let me spend that long in the shower. For the radio button questions, we do have a series of scoring them. They are all a 10-point base. And after folks answer some of the questions, excuse me, all the questions, I just did it backwards because I've done it a few times. Whenever we click see your results, here you see we have a modal pop up and you get a score and also a title, if you will, kind of giving the user a idea of how well their day-to-day energy usage is. And the titles are Earth's Best Ally being the best, Tree Hugger, Sustainable Striver, and Resource Reckless as the worst. Nasty energy quiz. Over to you, Brandon.
Thank you so much, Roman. Just want to show that the website does indeed scale down. That was something I had to make sure occurred with certain sections, and it all fits nicely all the way down to a small mobile. Going over to the code itself, we can see the original configuration and the functionalities that each team member combined into the index.js, as well as the different sections such as the quiz. What I was tasked with doing was taking those sections and converting them over into React. React is what we were taught in order to work with the backend. And it also helps present a lot better. One of the things I also did was take the quiz section and create a constants.js file with the different content, importing that in to populate the results. You can also see I have the API call section, and it allows for users to run the software locally. If there's an environment file and it reads production, it will search for the process.env and for a secret key, providing a certain level of security. Switching over to the backend, there's a couple different security features, including cores. And there is also certain functionalities such as error logging and request logging. You can see that for the creation of pledges, we have the controller section, pledge.js. And there's a functionality to get the pledges, create the pledges, and also to delete the pledges. The delete pledges is more for the creators to be able to delete any content that may come up. It's not necessarily meant for the users. And for the basic schema design, it was only required for a single string, and we have the min and max length included in this. The backend was uploaded to a Google virtual machine. We used Nginx and certbot in order to provide additional security. That additional security will redirect users from the standard IP address or an HTTP over to an HTTPS. once again providing additional securities, and SSL only allowing certain requests. And that's all I have on my end. This was our project for, once again, Team 3 here. And I want to thank you guys for reviewing our project and video.
There we go.
Right on. That was cool. I think having worked with Nginx the most, I think I am most impressed that in 6 days you guys got together, your team figured out how to work that in with some SSL certifications. Like that kind of blows my mind. So well done already, just at the attempt of that.
And I will comment a little too on that, just because they were at a certain level in the sprints. I had already completed the weather app and then the final project, the News Explorer. So I was familiar with that. With that being said, it still took me all day Friday just to get the back end up and running because I
Yeah,
kept running into issues. I mean, there's always a new issue when you're setting up a server. So, but
for
yeah.
sure. Did you have any problems with the deployment? Any tips or tricks? I know that is something, again, another thing that students get caught up on when they try to implement a back end to their front end. Any tips we could share with future code peoples?
Yeah, so when setting up the certbot and Nginx, that's where it was hanging up on Friday. And what I found out is there's a file that asks you to modify in order to set up the URLs and the redirect. But certbot will actually modify that file as you're going through. And if you try to copy and paste another configuration in there and change URLs, it won't work.
Uh-oh.
You have to let certbot modify that file. So just that was one of the big
Interesting.
tips.
Okay, so that is something to pay attention for, because I think if you're not familiar with that as a pattern, then you're not going to be looking for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, other than that, how was you said you're on Sprint 15. So how was being this far into the project helpful for you in doing the code jams? Because we start code jams at Sprint 4. So we go all the way through from the very beginning to now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how was that for you being on the back half of these?
It was pretty interesting because obviously I'm seeing where they're at and I could understand when I was at that point, and then I see where I'm at now and I'm like, if I did much more, I'd end up overshadowing. I didn't want to like ruin their creativity, and because I could have done all that and then some.
Mhm.
And so I kind of had to restrain myself, step back and be like, okay, I want to emphasize the team, what they're doing, and add to what they're doing. I felt setting up the back end, getting it converted over to React. As you saw, like their code, they had a bunch of comments and such. So when I converted over, I didn't have all that and try to clean everything up and make it presentable for people. So that was the cool thing that I felt I was able to do with this.
That's great. Yeah, it's definitely hard to kind of step back, but being on the tail end of your coursework, it's a learning experience for everybody, and so you don't want to go in and kind of tell everybody how to do it. You got to let them figure these pieces out too. So,
Exactly. So yeah,
well,
I hope you
really
guys
great
enjoyed it.
output. Yeah, I can't wait to look at all of the back end pieces there, and see all of how you were able to get the back end to work with the front end, because it's just, again, another level of complexity that is something that in 6 days is hard for any team. So I'm looking forward to it. All right,
Awesome.
that is Planet Pledge with Brandon Dooley, McKay Perry, Anand Ragathaman, and Roman Earhart. And so our team number 3 tonight is UX Green, and that is Caleb Campbell, Pooja Gupta, Alex Resnick, and Chaim Wusnick. Take it away, UX Green. Now, Caleb, we've learned you can't mute yourself if you're sharing your
Correct.
video.
Yes, I don't plan on doing that.
All right.
Well, Okay.
Alone.
Are everyone able to hear me? Okay. So my name is Pooja Gupta, and today I will begin this presentation by introducing the project UX Green. My contribution focused on developing the About section, which highlight the core mission of the project. And I will start this by explaining this that why this project is. My answer will be this project is a call to action, addressing critical global challenges. And to illustrate this, I will give a simple example. Imagine a world where forests disappear, waste pile up, and energy resources are entirely depleted. And this is not just a hypothetical scenario, it's the harsh reality we face if immediate action is not taken. And this example reinforces the purpose of this project to emphasize the importance of. Can you scroll down a little bit, Caleb? To emphasize the importance of water saving, to tackle deforestation. Can you scroll to deforestation? To tackle deforestation, promote recycling, and encourage electricity conservation. And excessive energy and water use drive carbon emission, accelerate global warming, deplete vital resources. This project empowers individuals to take impactful steps like combating deforestation through reforestation efforts, practicing recycling to reduce waste, conserving electricity through mindful habits, and saving water by reducing unnecessary consumption. And together, this small mindful action can create a ripple effect, preserving our planet for future generation. Caleb, can you scroll a little bit up to the About section? And what you will find here, you will find some energy saving tips to reduce electricity and fuel consumption, some facts and impacts about the environment, and explore the impacts of your action on sustainability. You will find some interactive quizzes to expand your knowledge on energy conservation. And at last, I'll talk a bit about this background image, which shows a pair of hands which nurtured a small tree that shows the care with environment and aligned perfectly with the theme of our project, Let's Save the Earth.
Awesome. Thank you, Pooja.
Yeah, let's save the Earth. So now I'll hand over this to the Caleb.
Thanks, Pooja. So my name's Caleb, everybody. And first, I got to apologize. I have lost my voice. It's still coming back. So it's hard to hear. That is why. So I'm going to begin by just kind of going through each section on who did what and just kind of go over the importance of each section. So the first section is just going to be the hero section. This is kind of a section that I created. I wanted to grab somebody's eye, and we all kind of came up with something where we wanted a Earth to be rotating in the middle of the section, kind of something popping out. So to begin with, I wanted to do not just a flat surface of just a Earth turning. I wanted a 3D image. So I went on the web, learned how to do that, and I came across a Java API, excuse me, JavaScript API that generates 3D images based on a file that is generated through render. And I was able to find one online, and that's how I did that. So the other one that we designed, or that I designed, was the water section. This section kind of just gives us some impacts and facts about water, telling us, the harmful things that humans do every day, how we waste water, and kind of how we can combat that. We kind of wanted to go with like a short interactive, no, I wouldn't say quiz, just kind of a forum section that gives us some information based on, some input we give it. So this is, it gives us some examples how we could reduce water waste. Maybe we could turn off a leaky faucet. Turning off and fixing leaky faucets would save us about 3,000 gallons per year. And this is just facts that I took offline based on some data. After the user would go through and read this, it kind of gives a little question: how long does this shower typically last? So this will be inputting in minutes. It does have a minute max, so I could go up and down like this, or I could just enter something in. Maybe I want it 75 minutes. Hit the answer, and it would give us just some feedback. You wasted 147 gallons of water, enough to cook 588 cups of rice. Again, we could enter something in, maybe just 10 minutes. It would change that prompt below. The next section would be deforestation. Again, it's just another facts and impacts on how humans interact. Excuse me, impact the earth around us, and how we get rid of trees and kind of the information why trees are important to us. So one way we could reduce deforestation is go paperless, go to everything digital. Instead of getting something mailed to you, just get something emailed. You won't have to waste that paper that comes in your mail, look at it a couple of minutes, and then throw it in the trash. It really served no purpose. So again, it also asks us some information down here. Just a quick question: how often do you use paper products like napkins, notebooks, or receipts? And it tells us to choose an option below. So if I choose rarely, submit. He says, "Great job. You're using as little as paper as possible. You could save millions of trees per year." If I go often, it also changes the prompt. It says, "Consider going digital," because it kind of gives us some fun feedback about that. Our next section was with our another guy named Cham, who's not here at the very moment. He's on sprint 3 or 4, so I was actually in charge of giving out tasks based on our skills, and I knew he wasn't very familiar with JavaScript, so I was like, "Hey, you don't have to worry about learning that right now. I know you're going to get later on down the line." So I gave him something simple to build that he would be comfortable with building, and not freak out a bit. So I gave him the recycling section, kind of just give us some information about that recycling section, and some facts about it. Our next section was built by Alex. Alex actually could not be here tonight. He came in last second and just let us know that he was not unable to be here. But this is another section that kind of gives us some information about electricity and how we could save electricity, or alternatives. For example, solar, wind, hydroelectric power. Cleaner resources other than you just strictly using electricity. In our forums down here, we have just some tips on how to reduce energy consumption. Unplug unused devices or use the power strips, and when they're not on, unplug them and completely turn them off. And one thing that he really wanted to add was kind of just explain that when you're not using something, let's turn off the lights. So he wanted to turn off the lights entirely on the entire on the entire thing, just leaving the earth, kind of be the sole thing. And the way we did that, we just kind of put an overlay of the entire website, making like the opacity just really dark and so whatnot. So that's what he wanted to do. It's very interactive, this, that, and there. And I wanted to also just add kind of a footer just with our information. I did not add any links to these. I just kind of wanted to just add our information. So if anybody want to get in touch with any one of us, they could. But I do have a video I would like to share from our one of my other teammates. He wanted to add something in. So let me go ahead and play that for him real quick. Let me move this out of the way. And hopefully you can hear this. I believe I've shared my sound.
My name is Chaim Wunsch. I am a team member on UX Green. And as part of the team, I contributed by being the task manager. So checking in and seeing where everyone's holding and seeing what the next task is. It's really cool to work as a team. Really big shout out to Caleb for a lot of the code that would not have been possible without. Alex for the wireframe and the Figma, really brilliant. Pooja for an excellent job on the presentation header and the about section, and my section was the recycling section, where I got a background picture, I edited it, I made a linear gradient container with media queries to shrink as it goes to mobile, and hope you guys like it.
Awesome. So that was our other teammate who could not be here tonight. And last thing I wanted to explain is we do have a little countdown to Earth Hour in the header that I just kind of wanted to add in, just something to kind of fill that header on the blank space. But that was UX Green, and thank you guys for listening.
All right, that was fantastic. So many little fun bits that you guys added in there. I can't wait to go and look at all of those little things. It sounds like you guys had a really great opportunity in working together. Had you guys ever worked together as a team before?
We have not, no.
So how was that? Because I know that is also another question that many students ask, is like, how is it working with people you've never met before, and you kind of come together and like jam out all this code in less than a week?
It was actually pretty fun. I love learning, the skills and abilities of just new people, and I like meeting new people. The one challenge I would say that we face is both Alex and Kaim both had a Jewish holiday where they couldn't touch electronics for an entire 48 hours. So we weren't able to
Oh,
do as much as we really wanted to, but it wasn't that big of a deal. We made it work. We got a good in, and we just pretty much had fun with the whole thing.
yeah, that's always a challenge, especially, even when I was teaching, it was a challenge because we would have students who were obviously observant of many different holidays that were related
Sure.
to different technologies, and it can be a challenge, but I'm really glad to see you guys were able to work around it. It's pretty rad. In terms of things that you guys worked through, what was maybe the most challenging part for your team to work on? Because you guys have a lot of really cool, like the overlay and the globe and all of that. But what was really a challenging part for maybe you guys to actually do the coding part for?
I think the biggest thing was for GitHub. I know everybody except for myself did not know how to do a pull request. So I had to kind of teach them, especially Kaim. He hasn't even got the JavaScript yet. So he's very unfamiliar with GitHub other than just kind of a push. He didn't know what pull was, fetch, and anything like that. So I had to teach him a little bit about that. But we did come across some conflicts, obviously, in the GitHub code. So I was in charge of, fixing that. But other than that, there was not a lot of issues that we had to deal with.
And did you guys use any branching strategies to help
We
with that?
did. There was maybe
Oh,
20,
good.
25 different branches we had to create. But it
Woo.
all worked out in the end.
That's fantastic. I mean, definitely a really challenging part for sure. I remember trying to
Absolutely.
even just conceptualize how it works and how it's going to work when you try to merge everybody's code together. So,
Yep.
really great you were able to work through those conflicts. Those can be a real pain.
Yes, they can.
Fantastic. And Pooja, how was this for you? Was this your first time competing in a code jam?
Yeah, this is first time I'm competing in any competition, and this is first time I'm speaking something in live. I was a bit nervous, but everything went well. And I would say that while working with all the team members, it was really a very good experience. I learned a lot of things from Caleb, and Caleb worked like a project manager. And I really appreciate his patience because sometimes I ask so many questions to him about the Git. I was messed up with that Git part, so really, I appreciate Caleb's patience. I really learned a lot of things from him and Alex
Oh, that's
too.
great.
It was really
Yeah,
good.
you're not alone. I mean, I've been doing it 3 years, and there are still lots of opportunities where I have to reach out to friends and be like, okay, I swear I know how to use this tool, but
Yeah,
it's not working.
yeah.
No, that's
Correct,
really
correct.
great. I'm glad you were able to learn so much. I mean, that is one of the benefits, right? Is having people from all different places,
Mhm.
is being able to share that knowledge. So that way, when you do get to that sprint, it's even more kind of applicable for you because you've got that fresh in your memory.
Yeah, yep, yep.
All right. Well, that was UX Green. Thank you guys so very much. That is Caleb Campbell, Pooja Gupta, Alex Resnick, and then nope, Chaim Wench. I'm gonna get these names tonight, guys. I really
It's a
promise.
hard one. He even agreed. It was
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, UX Green, you guys did great. Thank you so very much. All right, our next team, our team number 5 out of 6 is Spam, which is an abbreviation for something that I'm really looking forward to finding out. The SPAM team is Modesto Amador, Pavel Zobov, Stephanie S., and Aaron Liang.
Thank you. Yeah, so the initial is literally just the first name, the first letter of all of our names. So it's
Oh my God.
Stephanie, Pasha, Aaron, Modesto.
I love
But
that.
yeah, I'll be sharing my screen and going over our application. Cool. There you go. I'm sharing that. Let me know. Can you guys see that? It's good. Cool. So this is Earth Hour. We just kind of wanted to take one of the ideas the TripleTen gave us and just hit the ground running because a lot of us, the big of us are on the East Coast, half of us are on the West Coast. I personally work nights. I am not home, but we got it done. So this is Earth Hour. Join the eco-friendly movement. So as soon as you land on the page, you just wanted to have like a nice little greeting. You come down here. There's effective ways to save energy. So the big goal of this project was just to inform and be educational to the users to like let them know how they conserve energy. So quick, you can click on a button, it'll open up a modal, so turn off the lights. These are all populated. I'll get into the code later. These are all populated with objects and like pulling that down. You can also, we also left a little research tab here. So it'll take you to an article that it will teach you more. Each one has that, a little closed model. So we just populated this. This was one of the big sections, just making this with Flexbox, making sure that everything's interactive, everything looks nice. Even if you later down the line, obviously there's more ways to save energy later down the line. If we wanted to add 20, it'll still look nice. So moving down, this is our pledge wall. So how will you contribute? We wanted to name something. I'll go ahead and put my middle name, I, Randy, pledge to reduce my carbon footprint. And we have some options here. In the future, we'd like to, let them like put thing, but just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. No one's putting anything inappropriate. We just I'm reducing my carbon footprint by washing with cold water. So we'll hit pledge. It'll auto populate here. One cool thing is this is actually saved locally. So sorry, yeah, so this will be saved locally if I'll show later in the code. And then moving down to our mission. So our team is dedicated to crafting innovative digital solutions, basically summing up to like, we're trying to educate people on simple ways to save energy. This doesn't have to be like, okay, you personally have to go to the beach and like for a couple hours, pick up garbage to help like the earth. It's just like small little changes you can do in your life now. So this is, and then lastly, our footer, just our names of the team members. And then just to show that this works with interactive, this is on mobile view. And yeah, everything works good with Flex. Just making sure everything isn't like blown up. And then also same thing with the modals. You can see all the text perfectly. So there is that. And then on to the coding section. I wanted to share our code. This is where a lot of the magic happened. So we put like blocks. We use B and what's it called? A lot of the code was written in index.js. So like very first a couple days, we wanted to just hit the ground running, just try to get the functionality for the pledge wall and the cards. And then later on, Pasho actually moved a lot of our code into card, pledge, and sections. So just making it cleaner, just making sure that we can, our index.js isn't just like 500 lines long. We kept it. And then using every one of these little sections, for example, right here, this is loading all of the pop-ups all there. And then also just, this is populating the pledges dynamically. So a big thing was going back to here. If we wanted to just add a card, we don't have to like line by line make a card. We can just give it some parameters and it'll auto populate here. So this is where the magic happened in constant. So export const cards. This is just an array of objects. So each object is the card. It'll have the source, the title, the text is an array, and then that's how we're able to make these lines right here. So if we wanted to have more information about something in particular, we can just quickly go to, we can quickly go here and just add another line saying, another fact there. And so, yeah, so that's the cards. Same thing with pledges, initial pledges. We wanted to have the initial pledges for, each one of our team members making a pledge, and then also like to help join for that. I guess I can show that here. So like if we were to make a pledge, if we come to inspect elements and then we come to the application, it's saving, I guess that's not working right now, actually. I don't know why, but in the local version, it'll save it to the local storage, basically. But yeah, that's pretty much the project. Just talking about a little bit more of what everyone did. This was kind of very it was a lot of people's first time working in a group. So I'm personally the farthest along. I'm on sprint. I just entered sprint 11. So I just finished up the introduction to React. So, when I was first getting on here, I was like, oh, I would love to try to but I believe Brandon talked about this, where even when you're ahead, you don't want to rip people's chance to learn, right? Here and my other three members don't know React, so we went with the vanilla JavaScript, so then have an opportunity to work on something. So for myself and Pasha, we're more with backend or not backend with JavaScript. So we JavaScript, I would quickly like come up with a functionality, and then it was Pasha's job to then take my code and then chunk like compartmentalize it in the components to make it more readable. And then Stephanie actually helped out a lot with the designs, finding these icons, the hover effects, same thing with and a lot of with like the padding and the margins and everything like that, working on this effect, so you can clearly see like when you hover over something, it's has a different effect to it, just to see that that's actually interactable. And yeah, that concludes our presentation. And
Fantastic. I love it. I'm a big fan of what looks like your background matching your website.
yeah,
So I don't know if that's intentional, but really
yeah,
great.
it is.
Oh, good. I do love a good matching background. So let's talk through some of the different pieces, right? I really appreciate you showing us the code pieces that you did. In terms of like the hard kind of code parts, that is always one of my favorite parts. But I also know that like the soft skills part is something that a lot of employers are looking for now, right? And so in terms of synchronizing, you mentioned that your team was kind of split coast to coast, right? How did you guys manage that? And you work nights, my goodness. So like how are you managing all of that with your team?
Yeah, so a big part was so hop on like usually 1 to 2 p.m. my time, so 5 p.m. his time. One thing, I guess I could show it in our Discord. Like the first thing that I was like, okay, first thing we need to set up is everybody's schedule, like just where we're at, just so we can see when we can have calls. And then mine's all kind of all over the place, so I'd say, okay, whenever I'm free, I will be in general, I'll be in voice channel, just hop on and we could work together. So a lot of times it'll be I would get off at 3 in the morning, I'd be home like 4, and then I'd start working on whatever tasks they like, okay, we need to get this out of the way, okay, I'll work on this task. And then oftentimes too, merge conflicts would happen because hey, I was working on the index.js, and then I also was working on the index.js, so we'd have to go through that. But yeah, we would find like little times, like even if it's like 1 or 2 hours, to just quickly come together and be like, okay, let's see whose code will take the incoming change and the outgoing and stuff like that. But for the most part, it did work out, just because Stephanie, and Aaron are all night owls. It kind of worked out, even with the East Coast and West Coast time difference.
Sure. That's great to hear. And I really love that scheduling thing. I think that is a great tip that I'm definitely going to make sure that we include for future code jams, is just lay that out front and center. Really great idea. In terms of the pieces, now this is something like when you guys used, obviously you didn't use React, you went back and just used the vanilla JavaScript and things. What part of the skills that you, having looked back, you're on the back half of this, looking back at it, what are some of the skills that were, I guess, most valuable in the coursework for working on the actual project pieces of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So object-oriented programming, sprint 7, sprint 8. So for me, I made these cards here. They're objects, they're either with classes that can just quickly, you can make more, right? And so I was explaining to, I believe, Stefan and Aaron, which they're on, I believe Aaron was in a lower sprint, so was Stephanie. They haven't gotten to there yet. I think Stephanie just got to sprint 7, so just learning object-oriented programming. So when I was it was very important for me because, once again, I want everyone to be involved. I made this constant cards. I said, okay, if you want to make new cards, because obviously we have different time frames, you want to make changes and I'm not around. I taught them how to make a new object with in this array. So then that way, my code with and Pasha's code will automatically populate it. So then they can go ahead and try to make new cards, and then they can work on the CSS because that's where their strength lies.
Yeah.
So just very much, first couple days was just let me get the functionality to auto populate from an array a new object, and they can mess with the CSS for that.
It's a really great way to kind of frame that, right? Especially because when I'm thinking ahead to being on a development team, everyone's going to have different skill sets. And all of us will get to a place where either we are the new person or we are the more experienced person on the team. And trying to find places to learn those skills, you do have to kind of jigsaw on a ticket a little bit. And it sounds like that's what you did. Let me work on the structure part, and then you can go through and fill in these pieces. So I'm really glad to see that you were able to get that opportunity now. I think that's going to be a great thing to bring up in conversations in an interview situation about how to hit the ground running, right? When you're new on a team. All right. Really great project. Thank you so very much. I know you are our spokesperson for the team, but really great team effort all the way around. That is the SPAM team, SPAM, which we've learned is now the name initials for everybody on the team: Modesto Amador, Pavel Zobov, Stephanie S., and Aaron Liang. Thank you guys again. And then our last team for the evening is We Get Bugs. We've heard a lot about We Get Bugs. And so I want to go ahead and share my screen now. Let's see if I can follow my own directions and share the volume as well. It's always worse when the teacher chastises you for it and then forgets, right? All right, let's see. Share. Share sound. Make sure I'm sharing the correct screen so I don't show everybody my bathing suit swimsuit shopping. It's getting to be that season here in the States. All right. Here is the video from We Get Bugs, and that team is Saw Simon Lin, Avery Gunther, Jaden Barron, and Caitlin Passos.
Hi everyone, we Get Bugs, and we worked on the Echo Challenge website. Our team consists in Jaden, Avery, Simon, and I, Caitlin. Each of us contribute for a different part in the project. Jaden and Avery took care of HTML and CSS, while me and Simon worked on JavaScript and media query. Simon also did all the backend development for the website. So, Echo Challenge is a web application designed to help users achieve their environmental goal by doing daily challenges. So, users can select their goal, their level, their participation style, and the app will provide them with challenges based on their choices. The goal of the Echo Challenge website is to encourage small everyday actions to contribute to a more sustainable lifestyle. So yeah, we built this website with JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Node.js, and Express for full stack. Yeah, now Jaden will walk you through all the HTML layout.
So hello everyone, today I'm going to walk you through the landing page of our website, excluding the footer because Jaden was responsible for that. So at the top we have a header with a navigation bar that allows users to easily access different sections of the site. And the nav bar also includes a challenge button, which takes users directly to the challenge page for quick access. And then below that we have a checklist of 5 daily challenges. These challenges focus on small but impactful habits such as reducing waste, saving water, minimizing electricity usage, avoiding plastic waste, and choosing sustainable transport. So next we have included a daily tip section. This section refreshes every day with a new tip on sustainable living. And then next, at the bottom of the page, we provide a resources section where users can learn more about environmental conservation by interacting with these green cards here. Now, as far as my contribution to the project, my role was focused on structuring most of the landing page using HTML and CSS. So for the HTML, I structured the site by creating semantic elements such as header, nav, and section with class names that describe what each section is, and the footer element. I also built the challenge checklist using input type checkbox elements, which helped to make it interactive and easier to style once I got to the CSS portion. And then for the CSS, I styled the page based off of Simon's Figma design, which was really good, by the way. Overall, I didn't have to do a whole lot of fancy stuff. It was just mainly flexbox to get everything in the right position. I started with the nav bar in the header. I used flexbox to ensure proper alignment and spacing of these elements. And I also used flexbox for the daily challenge section to position the checkboxes in the middle of the page. And then for the daily tip section, I styled it according to the Figma. And here I use grid to create the layout of this section, which includes the larger expanded card and these 4 smaller cards here. So overall, by focusing on the HTML and CSS aspects of most of the landing page, I helped ensure the basic structure of our site was in place so that my partners could have a good starting point for implementing JavaScript and the remaining markup required to make the website interactive. So yeah, handing it off to the next person.
Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about the Eco Challenge app that we made. Mainly the challenge page, and it starts on this landing page where you can pick and choose like daily task, and then the footer are the points that I'm going to talk about today. We have our GitHub links on the bottom, and obviously all the GitHub links will link to our team and their individual GitHubs. And back to the footer, we have our links for LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, which will take you to the main sites, and then our name, our copyright, and our logo. And then the challenge will go to challenge. Tips, of course, goes to tips section, and learn more section where you can learn more about economical stuff. And here the challenge page starts where you enter your name, your sustainability goal, your experience level, and then you pick your preferred challenge type and then hit continue. So I picked daily. My daily challenges would be this for the app, and I just check them as I complete them, and then it will give me a little thank you for completing all the challenges. And here it does have a sidebar, and you click them and it will just take you back to the main page. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm gonna be walking you guys through some of the JavaScript I use for the Eco Challenge website. For stars, on the tips box, I had 2 buttons to work with, the cop to clipboard and neo tip button. For the cop to clipboard, I use a very simple JavaScript. So basically, oops, that. And so every time the user clicks to cop to clipboard, it's gonna cop the tip of the day, so the user can share it in any social media. For the new tip button, I use a JavaScript, so every time the user click a new tip, it's gonna give a new tip for the day. So the user can click as many times he wants. And for that, I did initial cards collection. So every time the user click tip, it's gonna pass the address is gonna pass a new tip here. Manually for the user. I also worked with JavaScript for the subscribe button. So the user can put his email here, click subscribe, and it's gonna subscribe him, and he's gonna get an email like that. Welcome to Echo Challenge, with the Echo Challenge website informations. For that, I use it. Email.js. I kind of worked with API to combine email.js with JavaScript, so I didn't have to use backend for it. And I think that that's it. That's some of the JavaScript I worked on for the website.
Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I'm going to demonstrate the parts of the project that I'm working on. My main contribution include handling the website preloader, modal functionality, challenge page interaction, and the backend API integration. I focus on making sure everything's works smoothly, from fetching challenges from the backend to the saving user progress. Now let's take a look at the app. Before the website fully loads, users see this preloader, which includes our logo, title, and the loading bars. This creates a smooth transition into the app and improves user experience. This is our landing page. Jaden and Avery work on designing this using HTML and CSS. The main feature here is the Start Challenge button, which opens a pocket modals. In this modal, users enter their name, goal, such as reducing plastic, saving energy, their experience level, basic, intermediate, and advanced, and how they want to participate, daily or weekly. Once they fill this out and click continue, they are taken to the challenge page. This is a challenge page where users see 5 challenges based on the goal they selected earlier. These challenges are fetched from the backend and displayed on the front end. When a user clicks a challenge, several things happen at the same time. The checkbox updates, the challenge color changes, and the progress bar moves, and the progress test update. This provides instant feedback to the user. Even if the page is refreshed, the progress stays safe. This is because the checked challenges are stored in the local storage, ensuring the user progress is not lost. Once the user completes all 5 challenges, they see a completion message and next challenge buttons. This leads them to a different goal, but keep them at the same experience level. Don't automatically move them to a harder level with the same goal. We focus on making the app interactive and user-friendly. Our team work together to ensure smooth functionality and great user experience. That's all for our project. Thank you for your time.
Audio. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Yay. That was wonderful, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. So many little fun bits, and also another project with a back end. So exciting. So I can't wait to see all the little back end pieces and try the advanced stuff. We've got Avery. Before I go on ad nauseum, we've got Avery in the and he is with us. She, oh dear. Avery is with us today to talk to us about the project. Now, one of the questions that I wanted to ask was kind of like, what place are you at in terms of sprints?
Yeah, so I'm actually on Sprint 5. So still very, very new to JavaScript. That's why I said, hey team, I mainly want to focus on the HTML and CSS because I'm still trying to like wrap my mind around like for loops, Boolean logic, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So definitely like more so comfortable with what I learned from Sprint 0 to Sprint 3.
Well, it seems like, it worked out really well that every teammate had their own little niche area that they were able to take care of. So when figuring that out, did you feel like okay, I've got this, or did you feel like, oh no, I'm definitely going to have to do some more reading of docs and watching some more videos?
I mean, there were definitely some, like for instance, like some styling things that I didn't know how to do at first. So that took more research, of course. But that's also what made it a fun learning experience for me because I realized, oh, like to get the solution for anything, I can just like I can always find the answer online somewhere, you
Yep.
know? Um, and I guess like going through the process, because like it was, I mean, we only had like 4 days, so I had to rapidly like make these changes and figure these things out. And I had like the first day where I did, all of the HTML and CSS for the landing page, I sat down for like maybe 7 straight hours,
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
and just like knocked it all out. So I'm like, oh, like I can figure all this stuff out if I really just like I don't know, lock in, focus in, and
Mm,
use my resources. Um,
yeah.
yeah, so it helped out a lot.
I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, I know that, I mean, obviously 7 hours, not a healthy practice for a stand-up, job, but on a code jam, definitely the right move. But it also is really great. And I think the important part to remind everybody who might be a student who's watching this or thinks that they can start out with nothing and can't contribute is there's lots of opportunity to still contribute in these code jams starting at sprint 4 and all the way up as we saw, working through back end pieces through the later half. That is something that I certainly took away from that, and lots of opportunities to learn, right, in such a short period of time. And I'm sure, when you are moving on to what sounds like sprint 7 and 8, when you move to object oriented programming, sounds like you're going to have a little bit of a leg up when you get to there because you've experienced that with your team.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to that as well. And then what I really want to do is I want to go back and talk to some of my teammates, like, hey, like, let's go through the code, and can you talk me through how you did some of these things so that I can make sure that I'm learning from our
Oh my
project and
gosh.
taking all that stuff with me. So
Love that so much. Yeah, that's a really great way of doing it because, you were so invested, obviously, in this jam, but then also to be able to go back and look and create that community and keep that going. I think, again, that's the biggest takeaway is that for me, all of these jams are the best part of them is you go from just kind of soldiering your own path to now growing that networking sphere, but also that learning sphere. And you realize that it's not just you. So,
yeah, absolutely, totally agree.
all right. Well, thank you so very much for taking some questions tonight. I really appreciate it. Video is super fantastic. That was our last presentation. That team is We Get Bugs with Simon Lin, Avery Gauthier, and Jaden Baron, and Caitlin Passos. Okay, so we have had a jam-packed, get it, jam-packed evening tonight. So from all of us here at TripleTen, this has been our March Code Jam presentation. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all the students who have participated and all of the viewers that have been commenting. And please remember, if you are a student, you can vote for your audience favorite in the Discord channel. And if you are watching on the YouTubes, either now or later, you can vote in the comment section below. The results for all of the winners will be announced on March 26th in Discord and socials. I want to send a special thanks to all of the people you don't see that are working behind the scenes to make sure that things are working smoothly. So that would be Devin, Elena, Alyssa, Olivia, Anastasia, Dennis, and of course, my cat Sharkbait, who's a paid actor. We want to thank, I want to take a moment to thank all of the people who were able to join tonight that presented and all of you who worked so hard. It is a lot to try to ingest and develop and work with new teammates and have the courage to get up in front of all of us and show off what you've been working on. And so I just can't thank you enough for your vulnerability and your courage, and really just being able to show others that at any stage of our sprint programs, right, that you can really participate and learn a lot from it. My name is Tiffany Hall. You can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram, and you could probably find my cat calculating the optimal nap to treat ratio. Thank you so much for watching and have a great evening.